How you doing, everybody? Welcome and thanks for stopping by and joining us today for another Rollin' Over the Hill right here on the Live to Roll channel. I'd like to give a shout out before we get started to thank our sponsors, mobility professionals and urology professionals. As I always say, they're a great and helpful group of experts that are part of our community, and we rely on them for sure. So a big thanks to them. Today's show topic is pain. Is it real? As always, please make sure to include your questions, comments, and views in our chat. Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Soto. I'm a T12 spinal cord injury from a motorcycle racing accident almost 50 years ago. And now let's get started and welcome my co-host, Bobby. Luis is on the road today. So what's up, Bobby?
Yeah, we're gonna miss you. We always get that. Hold on, three, two, one. Now it's over. I think we got. No, it's
I
not
didn't know
today. Got to shake your computer, Robert, or something. Yeah, we're gonna miss Luis today. He's on the road helping out different causes today. He's always on the go. So I am Bobby Rohan. I am the fill-in for Luis. Just as not as pretty, not as handsome, but way smarter than Luis. And I'm a C56 quadriplegic of 34 years. And yeah, pain. Is it real? What do you think?
I'm, I don't know because there's researching a little bit of this, and I know it's a little bit different than from my personal pain and what I deal with. Uh, yeah, it's real. Yeah, is it in your head? Yeah, but that can also be argued because the experts say it's all in the brain, and there's different systems that emotional and physiological and all that. Because like I read one article that was saying there's pain is pain, but there's different types. Like one is, let's say, damaged tissue, torn tissues, and all that stuff. That's a pain, but yet there's also pain for a broken heart. So there's different things like that, and it depends on how you interpret it, because the brain is still going to
Well,
perpetuate it as pain.
so and then there's this other pain. It's that it's that pain that I can say to you, oh man, Bob, on the back of you, on your back and the lower back, you have a really bad burn. And it's so bad, it's ugly. And you're like, really? And I bet you by the end of the day, you would have pain down there, even though that never really happened. I was lying to you. But you would be thinking that there might be pain there. And I have that kind of pain where somebody, can say, oh, looks like you did a number to your ankle. And and I'm not looking at it and I'm like trying to look. And then all of a sudden, like 5 minutes later, I'm like, yeah, it is feeling pain. I don't know. And then there was really nothing wrong. It was just a nick, but you're
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
more feeling that pain, right?
yeah. But it's like when I first got hurt, the pain when the actual injury, that was like automatic, just stuff coming
Yeah.
out of your mouth. Okay, is there still a lot of feedback?
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
You're good.
I, okay, I put these ear things in to see if that made a difference. Anyway, so, that was just like automatic, just coming out, the pain and all that. Then after a while, after so long of this excruciating pain, you get numb. And I mean, I'm not saying that it went away, but it didn't seem to bother me as much. And as I went through the earlier years, I could tolerate pain a lot, and I think I still can now. I just that I turned into a complainer, so I complain about it now. But I don't know. It's just like when we take those classes, those pain coping skills. So that's kind of using distraction and things like that. So that's kind of. I mean, the pain's
Well,
still there though.
I don't know if you were like me. Yeah, okay. You said something about when we first get hurt. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of pain because one, our muscles did this, shrunk, and uh, all of a sudden you're not moving. You were moving every day,
Yeah.
running, whatever, and all of a sudden it stops. Then the next thing you know, they're trying to move you again. Now your whole nervous system is shot, so you have a lot of pain, right? So they're moving you, and they're trying to range you, and you're like, no, no, oh. And a lot of nerves are going, you know, you know, just wacko all over your body. And then over time, it settles down. You stop feeling, all those nerves in its shock state. And then next, for me, I was pain free for 20 years. Like, I didn't know what pain was. I mean, there was no pain in, I mean, yeah, does it hurt if you fell? Yeah, a little bit, but, I shake it off. And now that I'm getting older, the pain is starting to settle in. And what I mean by that is obviously when I fall, it hurts a little bit more. The pain now, meaning the different types of pain, nerve pain, the neurological pain of just being seated for so long. So it feels like my feet and especially my thighs and my hips. And the pain that I think, if I went into a hospital and somebody asked me, "Where's your pain?" It's all right here in my hips. And I don't know if anybody in the chat, we got a few people in the chat. What's up, Paul, Roy, Dominic, LL? I know LL. Hey, sweetheart. So I know that really I feel like my hips are broken, but they're not. I just where
Well,
all that pain is.
yeah, see, I think I've had pain all along. It's just that I get numb to it in a sense, and then I start calling it, well, my body feels achy. My body's not painful, it's achy. Or my shoulder, there's a difference between me and my shoulders are in pain, or my shoulders are sore, or my shoulders ache. I mean, there's the pain piece is, it's like I hate it when you go someplace. If you go to a hospital or anything like that, they ask you, how much pain are you feeling from 1 to 10? That is the hardest. That has got to be the hardest thing to do. I go, well, you know what?
Isn't the number always 7.5? That's what I
Yeah,
say.
yeah. I always 7 or 8, yeah, seven
Because
or
yeah, because you're going to get the pain meds that you want, unless
yeah,
I know in some of our audience, they don't like doing that and taking the pain meds, and I understand. I mean, I understand, but I also don't. Nowadays, it's just like, let me feel comfortable. I'm not in my own bed. I don't have my same food. I don't have my same TV selection. I- You know, I'm being bothered at all time of the day and all night at night as well. Just being bombarded here, there, there. Every time you're about to shut your eyes, it just seems like somebody comes in. So when somebody says, "Do you want pain meds?" I'm like, "Bring it on."
yeah. Bring it
So,
on. Yeah,
but yeah, that's when I am going to take pain meds. Um,
yeah. Well, because they
and I
say,
and I always say my number is 7.5, 8.
yeah, I am. I'm always around this. I'm always around a 7 or 8, but because they say pain is all construed and constructed in the brain, and it's all I guess there's different systems that work in terms of, one system of your brain works where the location and the uh, the damage it's done or whatever, and then there's another one that gives you the reflex, whether you say "ow" or whatever. And I'm trying to make it as simple as possible because if you
Right.
go and look some of this stuff up on the internet, and our listeners and viewers and all that, there's a lot of information, but it's pretty deep. And I mean, there's these doctors that do these extensive studies on it, and I just know for me, the pain piece. I think I've been in. I would have to say I lived with pain, but it's not debilitating pain. Not like at the very beginning, but like you're right. If you're laid up in bed and you're not moving, when you get up, man, you feel pain. But to what degree,
So we're rolling over the hill. We're aging with our disability.
yeah.
Were you like me when our first 20 years, no pain?
Um,
Or
I
you
don't.
probably have some of the other pain because I've always heard incomplete has a little bit more sensation of different areas of pain because there's almost that connection. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
like watching a flickering light
Yeah.
in a
My pain a lot now. I mean, my shoulders. I'll say they're sore. They
well,
ache and all that. But my legs, which I've always had, is the burning and cutting feeling all along. And so, but what really bothered me at the beginning, and then as years went on, we're talking almost 50 years now, uh, I can deal with it. I go, I just kind of rub them up a little bit, or just kind of, scringe myself up, and it goes away. But I think you could train your brain, to to uh, to lessen that feeling. Okay, it's just like a lot of athletes and stuff, how they play with pain and things like that. So I think depending on what type of person, how you perpetuate the feeling of pain. Uh, I'm trying. Like I said, I'm influenced a little bit by what I read.
I know that was our problem. We did a little bit too much research before this hand. So let me just let's dumb it
Yeah.
down, I guess. So the first 20 years, what was your pain like? Or
Uh,
let's because you're almost at that 60-year plus of no, I'm kidding. What was your first 25? Because you're
yeah.
now 50 years, right? Or almost
Yeah. Yeah. 50 years
yeah,
in a couple
50 years.
months.
So,
Um, I,
so what was your first 25 years like?
um, I'm trying to think. I don't remember, man. I'm trying to
All right.
think, if it was stuff like pain and stuff, I try to forget about that stuff.
1960.
You know, um, I always had achiness. And that again, because the first 25 years I was ambulatory with the crutches and stuff. So I
Mhm.
was constantly hyperextending shoulders, tweaking my arms and stuff like that. So I had, well, a degree of pain, not excruciating pain, nothing that's going to stop me from doing it. And maybe that was part of my problem, because there was times where the pain got a little bit more, and I kept working through that rather than sitting down and letting my body rest. I just got used to the pain, and maybe that was what my downfall was there, because I went beyond it, and it became normal for me to do that.
Okay.
I don't know
And
if
so,
that answers your question.
yeah, a little bit, but then now you're past 25 years. I mean,
Yeah,
uh,
it's
you
changed.
know about your shoulder pain, and
Yeah,
so you know, but obviously you still have those same burning and
yeah. The burning, yeah, is
yeah, the
yeah,
neuropathy pain that
yeah.
kind of comes along with it, but it's controllable, correct?
Um, I just tolerate it. I don't take anything for it. It happens. Okay, lots of times when I'm sleeping at night, especially if I have a UTI or something, they're real active. The sensory, I don't have regular muscle spasms or anything like that. I have sensory spasms, and
Mhm.
so it just burns. But you know, uh, I get through it, and then I don't know if it lessens, or I just, you know,
Yeah,
but
and
that's what I experience.
yeah. So for myself, I'm in the category of Paul and Tony. Thanks for your comments there. And, you know, yeah, the first 20, 25 years, it was smooth sailing. And then I think in the later part of these last 10 years for me, it's just been like a notch up. It like notches up with the chronic pain. And I think Paul said it, I also think chronic pain is a different beast. And
Yeah,
chronic pain is that pain that is just always there. If it's a, I kind of like sometimes feel like, or think of my chronic pain as somebody sitting on my lap for a long time,
yeah, yeah,
you know. And when
yeah,
somebody asks me, they're like, "Well, what is that like? What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, put a 350-pound weight on my legs and just let it sit there."
yeah.
That's what it kind of feels like.
Well,
And
I think like what you were saying, that for first years, but I was a lot younger, and you're more
well,
resilient with it. I mean, there's no
but
doubt about that.
and that could be, and Paul and Tony, I'd be interested in hearing. Do you think because we were so when we're young, we're more, I don't know, fearless
You
you,
just, you know,
and you just go.
resilient. Yeah,
I
you're
was always on the
resilient.
go. Yeah. You mean coming home late and getting up early and going to work and then going out late again
The
and
good old life.
oh God,
The good old days.
please. And it was, awesome, and I paid the price for it. And I don't even know if I paid the price, if it would be this way, the same thing right now. If I'm sure I would have the same kind of chronic pain or same kind of achiness. And, because sometimes I think some of my pain was from, you know, I was injured at 17. So once I started getting back into sports and doing things and being very active, so you think about snow skiing, all
Yeah,
that. And
yeah,
when you have no feeling from the chest down, all that impact is going on your whole body,
yeah,
all that force. One time going, uh, uh, what was it? Jet skiing, which I would never do that again. I never felt pain like that afterwards. It was like, because you're bouncing on the back or on the front of this jet ski as you're going through all the wakes and everything. So, to me, that I find that maybe all that jarring in my body of water skiing, snow skiing, rugby, wheelchair rugby for so many years, you know, maybe that took a toll on my hips.
yeah,
I don't, I don't know. It just, or is it because I've been sitting for 34 years, and I know there's some people that have been sitting a lot longer than I have, and maybe not have it. Maybe, maybe they don't even have to think of it. I don't know.
Well,
And it,
Paul, Paul, Paul
yeah,
was just saying right. Paul was just saying right now about some days it just depends. It's like some days are decent, some not so good. So if it's pain that's there, is it just one day that you're more tolerable of it, or because like they said, the brain is what's feeding. Is where you're indicating what that you're feeling pain. So does that mean the pain is gone, or that it's just your whole body just feeling better, so you feel better, and that's mind over matter, like in what Tony said.
hmm yeah, tough to say. Um, oh, I lost my train of thought. I think, you know, and it's been on my mind since we started this. One thing that I have heard, and I know that some of our listeners and our other pain topics have talked about, is our spinal cord does heal itself. And it heals so slow. It's like a millimeter, which is, you know, a little droplet a year. And so the spinal cord is healing itself over time. And is that, is that the reason why some of that neurolo- neurological pain is coming in? It's hard to say.
Yeah, like I'm just looking at this one piece here that I had, and it talks about uh, it all being in the brain, and then the perception of pain is shaped by brain circuits that are constantly filtering the information coming from our sensory nerves. So, I mean, I know that kind of makes sense because we kind of understand just what we've gone through. But um, okay, so you figure being a spinal cord injury, we don't have all the sensory we have. So when you bang your leg up against something, and that would hurt, but you can't feel it, so you're not feeling pain is because the sensory isn't going. There isn't that connection anymore, right? So the pain that we feel are, I mean, so what pain is it that we feel?
maybe it's nerve endings, it's maybe that lack of movement of your tendons and muscles. Is it bone pain too? Your bones are, when you think about those growing pains, that's all on our bones. That's actual
Yeah,
pain when your
yeah,
bones are actually growing, right? So
right.
you think about it that now your bones are kind of, hey, thanks a lot, Ben, for that super sticker. Um, you think about that, our bones are now shrinking a little bit and not as strong.
Uh-huh.
So could it be from bones, and I know we're talking like really ABC compared to what we were listening today. And I don't even
Yeah,
want to attempt some of the words they were talking about because
yeah,
I would butcher them to death as I look over to my left here and see all the words that they're describing some of the different types of motor skill pains, and it's just
yeah. I know. That's
like
what that's why I say everyone just look it up on the internet because it's really a lot of information out there, but it's a lot of in-depth stuff that we're
yeah.
trying to avoid. We're trying to avoid that right now. But
Well, and here I can, you know what? Actually, Shawnee Boy is on the other end producing us. I'm going to send this to you, Sean, if you want to put this up on our screen of all the different types of pain, so our viewers can get a sense of what it is. Because I don't even want to attempt, and I did not go into depth enough to figure it all out. Here we go. Uh, let's see here. So you have the two types of pain, Robert. You have the shoulder pain and
and
then
leg,
nerve pain and the
yeah,
leg pain.
yeah.
What hinders you more throughout the day?
Um, I don't know if they really hinder me. They're there. It's
To
kind
a
of
point.
yeah, yeah. The leg, uh, it's really hard to say because the shoulder pain because okay, the leg pain doesn't stop me from moving, range of motion, or anything like that. It's just it's on the surface. It feels like. I mean, it's a burning. The shoulders actually inhibit me from wanting to move that way because it's sore. And it's just like now. Okay, I have uh, spotty sensory in my legs. One spot I have normal, and one leg is better than the other, and it's worse than the other, and whatever. But what's funny because now when it's colder, I feel the cold, but not on the surface. I feel the cold like in my bone. It's bone cold, bone
Mhm.
chilling. How they say that. I notice that a lot now, and I never used to get cold at all. So now when I'm cold, it's just I feel it in my bones, and I guess that has to do with aging. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, and I've heard that a lot. Obviously, when the weather changes, and I don't think it even has to you have to be a spinal cord injury to
Yeah,
figure it out
yeah,
that it affects your body. I hear it
yeah,
from a lot of um, a lot of folks that says when the weather changes, they're more
yeah,
achy, and I think because our bodies tense up more, so we're
yeah,
like, when you think
yeah,
of somebody cold, you always think of this motion. You're like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. The
and so what
shivering,
is yeah?
but
So
but
what's
but
happening is
that
all of our muscles are tensed up. So
yeah,
by the time we get in bed, you're just like, oh, I'm so
yeah,
sore, I'm in
yeah,
pain, I'm
yeah.
tired.
Because I know for me getting up in the morning is kind of getting rough now. The aches and pains until you loosen up a little bit and that. But to answer your question in terms of what what I feel is my shoulders are more invasive to me than the leg pain, the
Mhm.
sensory there. It's the shoulders that definitely is invasive.
Yeah, Tony mentioned that there's a great TED Talk, which are amazing. So there's one that um, from Lauren
Lorimer Mosley.
Mosley, Why Things Hurt. Yeah, I can imagine that it's awesome. So, and I'm sure it's on YouTube, Tony, if you anyone wants to check that out because TED Talks are great, and trust me, we're not doing anything justice of
Yeah, yeah.
giving you the, I guess, proper information of the actual definitions. And I think more Robert and I came on today that, hey, let's just talk about a little bit of our pain, because pain is an issue, especially for when you're dealing with SEI. So blow that up, Shawn.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, just
Yeah,
so it's,
you can blow it up. And I mean, this is just something that we found on the internet that describes some of the definitions of pain. If you want to read those off, Bob.
sure. Okay, we'll do pain, unpleasant sensory and emotional experience associated with actual or potential tissue damage. And no, I don't know how some of these words. Nociceptive pain is which normal nerves transmit information to the CNS about trauma to tissues, and neuropathic pain in which there are structural and or functional nervous system adaptations due to injury.
Yeah,
And then, then the whole list of different types of, I believe, of that, of neuropathic.
yeah,
So, so you can get real technical. And the way I look at it, you can call it whatever you want. If it's pain, it's pain. But the thing is that what shows you can have mind over matter, so it doesn't have to be so harsh of pain, is how some of these classes I've taken a class at Rancho Los Amigos, pain coping skills. So using distraction, meditation, things like that, which is all form of distraction to where it's not hurting so bad. But it's funny here because Tim says having serious phantom pain right now because we're talking about pain, and that's
yeah.
actually true. That's actually true because when I took that pain coping skills class, I go, we're talking about pain. All of a sudden, you're thinking about pain and you're feeling more pain. And the
Absolutely.
course is supposed to, the course is supposed to be the opposite.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And Tim, every
That's
time
right.
somebody brought it up in a support group, I'm like, oh, here we go. Here comes my pain. And it always comes down my left side.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
before we logged on, I mean, I was like, and Shawn in the background right now is like this, the same as me. We get our hood up over our head, because when you're in pain, you're actually a little bit colder. So you're like, oh, so the pain's there. You're not feeling well. Your body's not as warmed up. And it's funny when you get into a warm environment, especially on warm days, not too hot, do you notice your pain is a lot less?
oh yeah.
Especially when you're in the sun.
Yeah, my body just feels better, especially like when it's the sun's on your shoulders and
Yeah.
things like that. It's just that I lose the energy with the heat. I mean, it's like it's kind of a trade-off for me.
Yeah.
The cold just really does it to my body nowadays. But the heat, heat is good. Heat is good, but like I said, I
Yeah,
just don't have.
not too
Yeah,
much, but
yeah,
to a point, it is good. And then I think Tony, you beat us to some of those strategies that we use of trying to get rid of some of that pain. Obviously, it's always to stay busy. Meditation, mindfulness is necessary for you. It's probably should be necessary for everybody. Um, I get in these long kicks, and I wouldn't even call them long, but 3 months of mindful meditation, and everything's starting to going well. And what do? I stop,
yeah.
and I need to start again. I'm back on, having a lot more pain than usual. So yeah, I think it's time for me to get back into it because that does help. Like what Tony is saying. Then you have movement, just being moving around. Movement is key to our body. And I've been stressing that enough. And that's what I tell everybody who wants to join exercise program. Don't worry about the weights. Don't worry about your form. Don't worry. Just worry about movement. We have somebody in my exercise group. She just, wants to move. All she wants to do is move. And, because it makes her feel so much better. And it probably helps your mental state, your body as in a whole. So, movement is key. And then two, just staying busy with something. whatever it may be, and not something that you're sitting around watching, meaning clicking on the TV too much, Bob. But you know,
But that's my distraction. And then I think it helps me. Sometimes when because you figure too, um, I'm getting up there and I'm not as active as I used to be. I still do what I need to and all that stuff, but I think distraction is whatever you make that works for you, you know? But yeah, I'm a TV nut. I
yeah.
watch movies and I can do that, but that's my distraction. Lots of times,
Well,
that's a little break from me feeling lousy, you
Bob,
know?
when I'm 70, I'm going to be watching just as much TV as
Yeah,
you
no,
are.
but I'm just
I
saying,
think,
I'm not trying to defend or anything, but for me,
no,
that's, I don't know if I have the patience to meditate because I know that work. I did some yoga, a couple classes, stuff like that, and that kind of helped and stuff like that, but I just don't have the discipline for that because I like what's easy now. And watching
yeah,
TV is easy.
yeah. I yeah, easy, but we, movement is key, and also being active with other things, because I know you're active, going out to support groups. You were somewhere yesterday,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
helping out at support groups. You're just doing things to keep that maintaining, and
yeah, yeah,
there's a word called maintaining, and that's great. You're just doing enough that you're not doing too less, and you're not doing too much.
yeah.
So
I'll go
you
along
know
with that.
that is yeah, and if there's something local in your area, I know you're at it and you're
Yeah,
going to go to it. I mean, tonight there's this big fundraiser dinner. I guess it's where you order off the menu, and most of it goes to the charity that we're involved with. And Bob and I were saying, yeah, we'd love to go, but just so far. Even our
yeah,
producer Shawn, it's just a long drive. And
yeah,
in my younger days, I did it. Now, in my older days, I'm not going to do it. It's just a lot of work to drive home an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 20 from there, I think it is.
oh yeah. Depending on what time you get there, yeah, and
Yeah,
then that's
first
a
2 hours to get there, two and a half.
yeah, yeah,
Quicker to get home than it is, but still, when you're coming home, you're tired.
yeah,
You
yeah,
got the heater on. You're like, "Hmm."
yeah.
Yeah. So after
But
a long,
was it Tim that brought up about phantom pain? Well, because you hear stories about people that are amputees that have that phantom pain in their leg that's no longer there. So, uh,
well, and that's that. Well, it's not that where I can tell you have a burn and then you think something's wrong when you actually didn't have it.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
that's a different type of pain. But phantom pain is something that continues to stay there because the nerves think something happened. So, like somebody loses their arm, and for years they think that their hand is on fire when
yeah,
actually they lost their arm right above or right below their shoulder. And so, yeah, that's a different type of pain. And that might be something that we have, I mean, with our legs because they don't move. Um, but we think they should be. I mean, I still look at my toes and try to move them
yeah,
every so often. And when I do, I feel like a certain sensation going from here,
yeah, yeah, oh yeah,
but it
yeah.
doesn't do anything. I'm like,
Well, you're right because I'll do that sometimes where, and I get that tingly where I actually feels that little tingly sensation, but I can actually feel like I'm trying to curl my toes or move them. And if I didn't look at them, I go, oh yeah, they're moving. But you still feel all that. Okay, I know we're stepping aside from the pain aspect, but it's still showing that the connection of the brain that is telling you that what you feel isn't necessarily happening. So some of those articles I was reading is saying basically that's what the brain's doing with certain things where it's perpetuating that pain, even though it's maybe not.
well, and it's
Uh,
also called maybe memory, like
mhm,
a certain muscle memory, but the muscle
mhm,
isn't doing it. The brain is remembering what that was supposed to do or the
yeah.
reaction,
Okay.
you know. And I don't know if you're like me. Do you ever, when I dream, I never dream that I'm in my chair. My chair is somewhere around.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
It's
moving around, and I always think to myself, why am I not moving? But I'm now moving everything in slow motion.
yeah.
It's like, oh, I could do this fast, and especially when I dream about racing,
Hmm.
uh, especially bicycle racing. Oh, it is agonizing because I'm so freaking slow, and everything is going wrong. The pedaling isn't right. It's just not the same movement. And a lot of times I wake up in pain those days, which is so funny. I don't know if
Wow.
anybody else has that kind of pain or anything like that.
My it's funny because you mentioned dreams. My dreams are they used to be one type of dream. Now, yeah, it's could be I'm in my chair or the chair's around or I'm walking or I'm on my crutches or braces and just walking forever. I forget my crutches and I'm walking looking for them. You know, who knows? There's other psychological things on that,
Same thing.
but yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the same. Yeah. Hey, Olivia, Clyde, you can join us today. Um, so there we got Luis. He's chiming in as he's on his way to. Where are you going, Luis? Yes, Santa Claus. You can you hear us, Luis? He's trying to hit unmute, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Keep
I
your eyes
can
on the
hear you
road. Go.
guys.
Okay.
I'm to the Triumph Foundation Eat for a Cause out in
Yeah.
Santa Clarita, and I just left Loma Linda University Medical Center's orthotics department. So I'm on my way now.
So, Luis, you just chimed in just perfect. So, my question is to you. You're at home, you're sitting, and you know, do you feel like you have more pain? Maybe chronic pain or a neuro pain. And then when you're out, and we were just talking about how you're busy, staying busy with, volunteering and then now driving up. Is that, is that a different pain kind of thing? Obviously we get pain from overdoing it, but now you're not thinking of that other kind of pain. Do you have that?
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing for me. When I'm busy, I don't feel it as much. If I'm not doing anything, I feel my little aches and pains and staying busy helps me. I don't feel the pain as much. I'm more comfortable. I just feel better in general.
And so what kind of pain do you have if you are sitting around, or what's your general pain? Slow down, Louise.
When I'm sitting, it's the neuropathy pain, and my pain is like a 5 or a 6, which I can live with. That's not too bad. Um, so I don't take any medications for a 5 or a 6. The daily roar. Um, hang on, I'm transitioning here over to the 215. The
Woo!
Well, you got a
It's only
ways to
when I
go, dude.
get
I know.
intense.
You got like an hour and a
Yeah,
half.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to take Cajon Pass um,
Oh man.
over the hill and take the backside over to Santa
Yeah.
Clarita.
No, that's smart. That's smart. Uh, yeah.
Well, yeah.
So I
Is this
think we're all.
pain? Yeah,
Go
well,
ahead.
because he's a L3, L4, right? So I mean, I know I'm low T12, but so the lower you get, right, the pain is
The more pain you usually I hear a lot of people with
nerve
that.
or nerve, right?
Yeah, the L lumbar injuries have a lot more sensory pain. Is that correct, Luis? When you get a chance and you're safe.
Yeah, that's true. When you have that lower pain, lower sensory pain, you feel more of it. Like myself being incomplete, like spots on a leopard, I can feel a lot. And when I feel that pain, um, it's quite noticeable. Uh, but like I said, at a 5 or a 6, I can live with it. The flares that knock me off my feet. I can't do anything when it's that high. But fortunately, it's pretty rare. Just once in a while.
And what? How rare is it? Or once a year, twice a year?
Usually about three times a year, sometimes four times a year.
Yeah,
Um, so usually it might be related to how my general health is, which is a great sign for me to watch for my health. If I overexert myself, I'm overly tired, I'm running on fumes, um, then I start to have more spikes and flares. But
yeah.
if I'm eating right, exercising, and taking my supplements and whatnot, it's less often.
And I think that's an excellent point because our pain can be just on a different level when we have a UTI, bowel
Yeah.
issues, overdoing it, sitting too long. Obviously, those pains levels are going to go up. It's like telling an able body, sit on that chair and you cannot do a lift or adjustment. Put both feet on the ground. You cannot lift those feet. You cannot cross them. You cannot slouch. You cannot do anything. Just sit there for an hour. And they can't last probably what, 15,
Yeah.
10 minutes
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
before all the pain in their body would just be, they, you would go, that's how I feel pain. And there was
Yeah.
one time I did a Toastmasters group where I told them they have to keep their hands on the table with their shoulders up a little, both feet planted on the ground, and you cannot, wiggle around. And they were trying it, and they're like, that was, I could, they said at the end of my speech, they couldn't even hear me, what I was saying, because all they wanted to do was move or cross their feet or slouch or
That's
grab something.
interesting.
And they said,
Yeah.
they're like, our pain was, off its rocker. So just looking at our comments.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
I think, pain, we talk about it. Yeah, we talk about it right now in general. But, everyone feels a different pain or a lesser pain, more pain, even though we all been through the same thing. I just know the worst pain I ever felt was when I first had at the point of my injury. I remember that. I never blacked out or anything like that. And that was just a really crazy pain. And so much that where they were trying to, because, you know, I went to, but this was before trauma centers and all that. No one ever knew anything about spinal cord. I wanted them to cut my leathers, my motorcycle leathers off, and they're yanking them off and stuff like that. And so one pain went to another, and it outweighed the pain previously and stuff like that. So, I think it's all too how people handle pain. I think some people are built to handle pain a lot more than some others too. Again, how you're wired.
Yeah. And I think our general message of today and pain, you know, it's real. Everybody has it, especially when you talk about SEI and it's okay to have pain. Address it. I'm fine with it. I have pain. Okay. Get over it. Not get over it. I should not say that because that's just saying that's ignoring the problem. I should say more like, you know, try to move on with your day is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say by get over it. Move on with your day with more activities. What Luis is doing. He's doing a great thing today by volunteering at Loma Linda Hospital and then going up there to eat for a cause for a foundation that we believe in, Triumph Foundation. And mine is exercise and movement in the sense like my best days are going out to just take a mile push. And I don't care how um, slow or fast I am. It's just to be outside. And that could be for anybody going out to the park, fishing.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to exert yourself. Just stay busy or find some kind of social activity. Find a place where you can go play cards with people, or there's this website called Meetup, and you can do so much with that website. One time I got roped into picking up trash, and I'm like, well, it's pretty hard for me to pick up trash along the beach, but they're like, just come join us. And before I know it, I just was pointing. Yeah, I did a lot of
Yeah.
pointing. Hey, we got trash over here, and I was like, oh, good eye.
Supervisor. You were a supervisor.
But the thing is, that kind of day takes your mind off of your pain.
Thanks, Angry Quad. Bunch of geezers.
Yeah, come join us, buddy.
Yeah.
You're right along with us, bud.
Yeah.
We're just
Yeah, that's
angry
fun.
too, but we do it in a nicer way. So as we wrap up, we're getting to that bottom of the hour. Um, Luis, any other things you want to say on pain and your management of pain?
Uh, Probably the biggest thing I would want to say is find out what your levels are. Because some days are worse than others, and make a notation of that. Keep a note file on your phone or a diary or a journal, and so you can kind of track what your pain is, what you think is irritating it, inflaming it that day, and adjust. Find ways to adjust. More activity, changing up your medication. You know, letting your doctor know. You know, they can't help you if you don't let them know. So be aware. Of what your pain levels are.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely awesome. By keeping a diary, and a lot of times I think you're going to find what it is. It's during the times you have stressful times, the
Yeah,
time you might
stress.
have a UTI, weather change. Those are going to be the spikes. And I think, keeping yourself busy, and trust me, I know I don't think about pain. And yeah, we are a bunch of geezers when we have to get on and talk about pain, trying to fill a show for that. But
Rolling
uh,
over the hill, man. Rolling over the hill.
and I can go on and talk about it all day long if I really wanted to, but I don't. My wife sees it as, she looks at me and just says, "You all right?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." She's like, "Pain?" I'm like, "Well, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it." Because I'm moving on with my day, but the pain is there and it's real. And address it. I address it that it is real, and I have a lot of coping mechanisms to help it. One, like I was saying earlier, exercise and being outdoors is key. Staying busy is key for me. Um, but when I'm sitting like today, I had um, a lot of emails I had to do for the foundation. I help out with Triumph Foundation. And, when I'm sitting at the computer all day, yeah, my pain's a lot more than what it was yesterday. Even though yesterday I was running around, driving my dad all over the place, and sitting there just waiting for him to get done with all of his appointments.
Mhm.
And my pain was off the chart, but not enough that I can't do all that kind of stuff.
Right, right. Still function. It's not. You're
Yeah, it's
not.
fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's like me. Like I say, to a point. I stay busy. Um, like this morning, I got up and I went out and did some running around and had to hit some of these stores and stuff like that. So, today was one of those days where I'm okay, but not, like my normal okay. So, but then, once you get moving around and um, get things done, deal with the crowds and all that, you forget a lot of stuff. So anyway, but yeah, I say it's important to get out and do, like for me, I'll always do what I need to do, when it comes down to what's important and all that. And I try not to. I mean, like I said, for me, I burn out working all those years and just the stress and levels of pressure and things like that. So now that I'm retired, I mean, I really, my goal is to do nothing, but you within a reason of making yourself active, because I'm good at doing nothing. There's no rules and it's
Yeah.
easy. So so anyway, but yeah, you still have to make sure you're physically active in some form.
Tony put this comment up. There's a great Buddhist distinction between pain and suffering. Pain just is, which I think we're talking about. It just
Yeah,
is. And I think that's perfect, Tony. Suffering is when you want to go away. And I know that I'm not suffering from my pain. And I think that
yeah,
um, is so
yeah,
important to say that I am not done with life because of my pain. And I know that from time to time, I've heard some people say, I just want this to go away and be easier. I mean, a lot of times those who deal with addiction problems, their pain is
yeah,
a whole
yeah,
nother story. It's not what we're feeling, not that burning pain, the neuropathy pain, the chronic pain that goes along with what we're dealing with. That's a whole nother pain. And a lot of times they want that suffering to go away. That's suffering pain.
yeah, yeah.
So, you know, yeah, I feel your words there, Tony, and thanks for that. Do you want to talk about our sponsors, Robert?
Sure. Our sponsors, we want to give a big thanks to them: mobility professionals and urology professionals. Mobility professionals is located here in Southern California. They deal with all your wheelchair and rehab needs. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, great group of people, experts involved in the community, part of the community, and you can't thank them enough. They're a great group of people. So if you need any wheelchair rehab needs in terms of equipment, check them out. They're here in Southern California. Urology Professionals is a parent company or sister company to Mobility Professionals, and they deal with all your urological needs, and they are a national company. So if you're in need of urological supplies, check them out, make sure your insurance is good with it and all that. And they'll help you out. Like I say, you can talk to them. They make you feel like you're part of the family always, and very knowledgeable. Your mobility professionals and urology professionals, thank you so much for being our sponsors.
Absolutely. And I know some of our folks in the chat today have joined mobility professional or urological professionals. So thank you so much for that and the support. And
Good deal.
we
Good
appreciate
deal.
that. And as that, Luis, you drive safe. Uh, Eat a burger for me or have a drink for me. But
Yeah.
drive home
Yep.
safe. Drive home
Yep.
safe. And till next time, today was our kind of an odd day because we're on our fifth Thursday, and so the last meeting of the month. So, but we're here every second and fourth Thursday of every month. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. Next week is our women's show. Brianna and the girls, they're the first and third Thursday. So remember us on Thursday. But every Tuesday, you can catch myself, Tom, and Shawn, who's live with us. And we're bringing that every Tuesday, 3:30, same bat channel, same bat time. And Tom, as always, he's got his gaming video every Wednesday. He was on last night. Shall we play a game? And, he loves his video games and he's out there uh, chatting away with some great stuff. So join him every Wednesday for you video game freaks out there. So with that, thanks for joining us. A great live to roll, little pain issues, something that we don't like to talk about too much because when we talk about it, what happens? We start having it. So
Right
any
on.
last, Robert?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody, for tuning in and the comments. Again, we try to keep it at a high level, the pain, because if you look at some of the information on the internet, it's really deep. And I hope we guys kind of gave you guys a little insight, something that we shared, we all share, and judging by the comments, it looks like we kind of hit that mark. So anyway, we just want to thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you in a couple weeks on Rolling Over the Hill right here on the Live to Roll channel. Live
You
to
got
Roll,
it.
everybody.
Take care.